Hello. So today I'm going to try to make a video again that I've tried to make like 15 other times and it just has not worked out. Like my husband will be playing Modern Warfare and like screaming and acting like a psycho while I'm trying to record, or my kids keep walking in, or my attention gets pulled away and I walk away and don't come back, or whatever. I've just tried to make this video a bunch of times. Haven't been successful at it whatsoever. And then that's been going on over like the past 3 weeks. And I think I know why it hasn't been successful. I think I was still waiting for like another knowledge drop to come in that's related to this story. So the night before last, I got a new piece of this story that came in that I've been processing. And I think that it's time that I make this video and just freaking post it because I think it's important. I think it's important information. And hopefully somebody who's more experienced than I am and has a different skill set than I do can take this information and add to it or figure out exactly what we're supposed to be doing with this, because I'm not sure exactly what I'm supposed to be doing with this information. I just know that I am being called to share it. So here we go. I'm going to talk about the Adam and Eve story. And the first thing I want to talk about is why stories are important. So it is my belief, it's a pretty solid belief, that consciousness is just pure knowledge. That's all that it is. Therefore, I believe that if the human mind can imagine something, that it exists somewhere on some timeline, in some lifetime, somewhere. It exists. That's why we are able to visualize it. So why is the story of Adam and Eve important? It's pretty obvious. You know, they're the first people in this like human timeline on this planet. I mean, we know that there have been people here before, and then things happen and there aren't people, and then at some point people are here again. So the story of Adam and Eve, you know, it's the first people. I feel like it's super significant, and there's a lot of things in this story that I've been questioning over like the past year. And one of the aspects is the Lilith aspect of the story. You know, why is she excluded from the story? You know, everybody knows the story of Adam and Eve, but not very many people realize that like Lilith was Adam's first wife. So God created Adam and Lilith, and he created them from the clay of the earth. I'm going to light some sage. He created him from the clay of the earth. And they were made equal. You know, they both came from the earth, the feminine masculine and the feminine shit. So they were both created from the clay of the earth, the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And they didn't get along so well, Adam and Lilith. Adam wanted her to submit during sex. He wanted her to lay on the ground, and she was like, no, I'm not laying on the ground, you lay on the ground. And they could never get past it, so she just she left. So Adam was lonely or whatever, and God needed to create another wife for Adam, but he did not want to be in the situation again where they just weren't getting along. So he created Eve from Adam's rib to ensure that she would submit to Adam. So what does that mean for humanity? You know, there is this the mother wound, people call it. And it's just like the wound that everybody's essentially trying to heal here. Like, you're trying to figure out why you can't get past feeling rejected and abandoned, and it's like that unhealthy drive to Find the person on this planet who completes you. And there's all kinds of theories of why people feel this. There's people that think, you know, you're trying to get back to that perfect comfort from being in the womb of your mother. So you know, are constantly trying to get back to that perfect sense of warmth and comfort and having every one of your needs met at all times. That's a theory of the abandonment wound. Another theory is just the way society is. Mothers can't like raise their kids the way that they are meant to because they're working and their attention's pulled in all these different directions and all these things. My theory is that the rejection wound that we are all feeling comes from the story of Adam, Eve, and Lilith. There's so many aspects of rejection and abandonment and power imbalance in this story. One of them being the act of Lilith leaving Adam. Another one being the act of Adam replacing Lilith. And then there's the whole like submissive Eve thing. Like she was created already having her power taken away, not being her own whole full self, for the reason of being able to keep the man comfortable by being submissive and having less power. So the download I got 2 days ago was that the act of God pulling the rib from Adam was actually the act of removing the feminine from the male. So that's what I've been processing the last couple days. It's like, what does that mean? You know, I notice in every space where men and women are together, men have a hard time communicating. They really do. And it's in all spaces. It's not just at work or at home. It's like even in the spiritual community, in healing groups and empath groups, on any type of spiritual group. Like men are quiet. They're pretty freaking quiet in these groups. And there's also not very many of them. So like, why is it that men are so quiet when talking about the super important work? Like they're in these groups, they're here to do the work. Why aren't they giving their input? Another question is, why do women wake up so much more often than men do? I think that it has everything to do with that Adam and Eve story of the male having the feminine removed from his body. It's like an actual separation, an actual split. You know, women were raised to be submissive in most cases. You know, hopefully that's changing now. I'm certainly not raising my daughter to be freaking submissive. She's a freaking force, let me tell you. I want her to be that way, though. But anyways, why are women waking up so much more often than men? I think it's because, like, we're brought up to be submissive, but it's pretty easy for us to step into our power because, like, Lilith is still there. She didn't leave, you know, nothing happened to her. There was no official split. She just stepped away. So it's easy for us to draw in our full power, our full divine feminine power. It's easier for women than men, I believe. I think that's why more women wake up than men do. And as for why men have issues communicating, it's because all of your communication energy, it's a feminine energy. And if men have been denied this, and I think that it's pretty obvious they were, if you look back at the story of Adam and Eve, you know, the feminine was removed from the masculine in this case. It makes sense why they have such a hard time being authentic. So I don't know. That's all I have so far. I know that this story is important. My mission on this planet is I'm a polarity integrator, and that's what I'm supposed to be doing. And I know that the Adam and Eve and Lilith story is super important to the work that I'm supposed to be doing here on this planet. So I just feel like it's something that everybody should be taking a look at if they feel called to do so. We need to figure out how to heal this divide. And I'm not super concerned about men, but I'm interested in all these different aspects of the divine masculine. Like, it's been so twisted up. It's so hard for men to step into their full authentic power. Like, why? I feel like our men have been attacked specifically. Like, the programming for the masculine is so deep, and it's absolutely everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. Like, all marketing, for example, commercials and ads and all this stuff, up until like the past decade, 99% of marketing has been marketed directly towards men using things that aren't healthy for them, like addiction and gambling and sexualizing people and taking power, all of these things. I feel like our men are definitely under attack. I think it started with that Adam and Eve story. Even if that never happened, like, it still affects our timeline today, and it's so obvious. Like, it's a repeating pattern. Why is it so easy for society historically to accept women stepping into the masculine role? It's always been easy. And to this day, we're still struggling with men stepping into the feminine role. It makes people really, really, really uncomfortable because of the relentless social conditioning that our men have been put through. So I don't know. I'm probably going to name this like Adam, Eve, Lilith Part 1 because I continue to get downloads on this story. And I actually told this idea to a friend of mine, and she is an Akashic record reader. And she brought up doing some research of about the significance of a rib. Like, why a rib? So, like, I have some research to do in that area too. And, like, I want to ask anybody who has any ideas, like, help me co-create this blueprint. Like, let's figure this out together. If you have ideas on this story and what it means and how it relates and what we can do, like, let's get it done. Let's do the work. I think it's important. I know it's important. It is, the Adam and Eve story worldwide is known as the, it's the official beginning of human beings. I mean, not everybody believes that, obviously, but like, everybody knows the story. That makes it important. It puts energy behind that story, behind that timeline. It pushes these repetitive patterns forward. It's so much. It really is. I have sons. I'm super offended that society keeps attacking them. You know, if you look at the role of like the divine masculine and the divine feminine, it's like men are supposed to be gathering energy and providing it to the woman, and the woman transmutes it into what it's supposed to be. So, like, what purpose does this serve? To attempt to reverse these roles. so confusing. So I don't know. Let me know what you think.